Have you ever stopped to wonder about the jar of honey sitting in your cupboard? It is more than just a sweet treat for your morning toast. This golden liquid is the result of one of nature's most remarkable and cooperative endeavors. It is a story of countless journeys, intricate chemistry, and the tireless work of a highly organized society. Each spoonful represents the life's work of hundreds of tiny buzzing creatures. This process, perfected over millions of years, is a marvel of the natural world. It is a testament to the sheer ingenuity found in the smallest of beings. It is a story that begins not in a hive, but in the heart of a blossoming flower. The journey of honey begins with a single simple mission: the search for nectar. Imagine a vast meadow, alive with color and fragrance. For a honeybee, this is a treasure map, with each flower holding a tiny droplet of sugary liquid. This nectar is the raw material, the very foundation of honey. It uses a long, tube-like tongue called a proboscis to carefully suck up the sweet nectar. This liquid is stored in a special secondary stomach known as the honey stomach or crop. This organ is not for digestion, it is purely for transportation, like a tiny living tanker truck. The bee can carry a load of nectar nearly equal to its own body weight. As it flies from flower to flower, it fills this crop, sometimes visiting over 100 blossoms on a single trip. This is an immense feat of strength and endurance for such a small creature, repeated thousands of times a day by the colony's workforce. With its precious cargo secured, the forager bee begins its journey back to the hive. This is a perilous trip. The bee must navigate back sometimes over several miles, avoiding predators like birds and spiders along the way. It uses the sun as a compass and recalls landmarks to find its way. Upon its return, it does not simply deposit its load and leave. Instead, it performs a remarkable waggle dance. This intricate series of movements is a living map that tells other foragers the exact direction and distance to the rich source of nectar. Now, the exchange happens. The forager regurgitates the nectar to a house bee, a critical step in the honey-making process. During this transfer, special enzymes from the bee's body begin to mix with the sugary liquid. These enzymes start breaking down complex sugars into simpler ones, namely fructose and glucose. This is the first stage of the transformation from plant juice to honey. The adventure has only just begun for our determined little worker. Once the nectar has been enriched with enzymes and passed between house bees, it is deposited into a hexagonal cell of the honeycomb. These wax cells are marvels of engineering, creating the strongest possible structure with the least amount of material. But the nectar at this stage is still too watery. It has a moisture content of around 70%. If left like this, it would ferment and spoil. Much like fruit juice left out in the open, it would spoil. The bees need to reduce this water content significantly, down to about 18% to create a stable food that will not go bad. To achieve this dehydration, the bees become living air conditioners. They gather in groups and begin to fan their wings with incredible speed. This collective fanning creates a constant, warm airflow throughout the hive, circulating air over open cells of nectar. The temperature inside the hive is carefully regulated to facilitate this process. Maintained at a steady 35 degrees Celsius, it allows evaporation to happen efficiently. As the water evaporates, the sugars become more concentrated and the liquid thickens, becomes the viscous, syrupy substance we recognize as honey. The enzymes added earlier continue their work, breaking down sugars and making the honey slightly acidic. This combination, low moisture and high acidity, creates a hostile environment for microbes. Bacteria and yeast simply cannot thrive in finished honey. That is why honey is one of the most naturally durable foods on Earth. Archaeologists have even found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs, still preserved thousands of years later. It is nature's perfect preservative. When honey reaches the perfect consistency and water content, the final step is taken. The bees seal the cell with a fresh cap of beeswax. This capping protects finished honey from absorbing moisture from the air and keeps it clean until needed. Each sealed cell is a tiny, perfect pantry filled with high-energy food for the colony. These stores are eaten through winter or periods of scarcity, keeping the colony alive. From flower to sealed cell, the process is a masterpiece of natural chemistry and collaborative engineering. Have you ever looked closely at a full frame of honeycomb? Each capped cell holds a story of incredible effort. A single frame is hundreds of tiny pantries, each made possible by teamwork. It's time to see why honey, and the bees who make it, matters so much. The honey in our jars is a sweet byproduct of a process that helps feed the world. For the honeybee colony, the creation of honey is purely a matter of survival. It is their essential food source. their lifeline through seasons of scarcity. The simple sugars in honey fuel wing muscle vibrations that keep the hive warm. Those vibrations keep the cluster at life-sustaining temperatures. Honey is also the primary food for developing larvae, ensuring the next generation of workers. And while foragers collect nectar, pollen sticks to their bodies and enables pollination. About 1/3 of our food depends on pollinators like bees. When we see a flowering orchard or a field of crops, we see land made possible by bees. This golden substance is part of a perfect circle of life. Habitat loss, or pesticide use, and climate change are putting intense pressure on pollinators. By appreciating the work behind a single drop of honey, we can become better stewards of our planet. Try a small challenge next time you're in a garden. Plant a native flower, watch a bee for a minute, and imagine the journey its nectar will take. Remain curious. Ask questions. Look closer at the small wonders around you. If you enjoyed this journey from flower to jar, please like, subscribe, share, and tell us in the comments which part surprised you most or which videos you'd like next. Your curiosity keeps this story alive.